Alright, so this is going to be the tutorial on how to do the multiplicity photos for Photoshop. Now we're just starting off with a practice assignment, and again, I feel like the practice assignment is real important to understand how it works in Photoshop, even before we take the pictures. So, you're going to download the photos in Google Classroom, and this is the folder that should pop up after you've downloaded the if you download the zip file and added the images. So you're going to have a wide variety of pictures of this one student. And I would just, click, highlight all the images and double click it just so you can see the images all together at once. Alright, even before working in Photoshop, I want you to think really carefully about how you want to arrange your layers in the Photoshop. Alright, just like how we created your burger, the bottom layer, because all these images are going to be different layers. The bottom layer that you want to work with is going to be the image that's where the student is the furthest away. Alright, but you want to think about how you're going to have the bottom layer be where the person is the furthest away, and then wherever the person is the closest is going to be the top layers. All right. Now this is going to make your make the multiplicity photos a little bit easier if you learn to arrange the layers properly. It doesn't really matter which order you go, but just thinking about this like right now, it's gonna make things easier, and for future assignments, you're gonna have to really think carefully about your layers. So we're gonna start with this image here where she's the furthest back, and we're just gonna click and drag that onto Photoshop. Alright, so now this image is on Photoshop. But before we do anything with Photoshop, you're going to have to take this layer off of the background layer. So in order to do that, you want to hit Command A as in Apple. That's going to highlight your entire image. It's going to select it. You're going to hit Command X. Command X is going to cut the image out. Alright, now if you have a pink background or like a different color background, make sure the back color is white. So if you look at the swatches here, I'm going to switch this to white. And now when I hit Command X, it's going to make it white. Alright, you can also change the colors by clicking and dragging there too. So make sure it's on the top left. And after you've cut the picture out, you can hit Command V as in Valentine to paste. Alright, so the layer 1 is going to be the where she's furthest back, and then you have a background layer. Alright, so next step is you want to click and drag the second image you want to use. So the second image I'm going to choose is going to be the one where she's in the middle of the hallway. Alright, because we're slowly working from her being in the back and her getting a little bit closer. So we're going to click. This time I want you to actually click and drag this image onto the the file that you're working on. And then after you dragged it, just hit the check mark or double click on the image to finalize the transform. You don't need to resize the picture. Now just make sure not to click and drag on the PS. So if you do that, it's going to open up in a completely new window. So but when you drag it onto the Photoshop file that you're working on, you're going to have one layer be where she's in the middle, one layer where she's going to be in the back. Alright, so now what we're going to do next is we're going to create a layer mask. So this is almost like the same process as how we blurred the background. So you're going to click Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal All. And remember there's a white box that pops up. So now you want to change your brush to, use the brush tool, change it to black. Make sure it's a black, okay, nothing gray. And change the opacity to 100. We've been using the 30 opacity. But you want to change this for 100 for this assignment. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, Command plus to zoom in, Command minus to zoom out. And wherever I color in black, it's going to erase the picture. So, basically what's happening, if I hide the layer 1, I'm just erasing the entire picture here. So, you know, in this area here, that's where it's going to show up the next layer. But does everybody see how, you know, what we're doing is we're erasing the top layer and revealing what's on the bottom layer. Alright? So that's what's technically happening. I'm just going to hide the layer 1, and I'm going to use an even bigger brush. And I'm just going to erase, you know, around the edges. And the other thing I'm going to keep is just the person in the chair. Alright, so I'm just using a big brush. Just get rid of the, you know, most of this picture. And, you know, I'm erasing the person a little bit by accident. But, you know, I'm going to go back with the brush, change this to white. And this time I'm going to use a brush with a harder edge. And I'm just going to go back and just fix some of these areas here. Alright, so I'm just fixing this a little bit more, just so she pops up. In some cases I might go back with the fuzzy brush. But you don't have to get it like super perfect, the tracing. I mean, you can, it's possible if you want to do that. My intermediate students, you're going to need to do that because I'm going to have you guys actually play around with transforming the sizes and you know, playing around with sizes for this picture. So you know, I erased most of the background. I just kept the just her in the picture. But if I unhide the picture now, you know, I got a pretty good look on how, you know, I want that picture to look. Now, if you zoom in real closely, though, there are some, you know, areas that don't really line up that well in the picture. All right. So, well, even before we do that part. One important thing too, when you're using the coloring in black and white with the brushes, make sure not to click on the original image. If you have this message that pops up about rastering the image to proceed, hit cancel. You know, don't do that. Okay, because you're more than likely going to ruin the picture if you do that. So make sure it's on the white box when you do the layer. This box is called the layer mask, and the layer mask just helps to erase or bring back the image if you make mistakes. Alright, but if you look real carefully though, there are some areas where it's, you know, not lining up in the picture. And again, this is because you know, we're not using a tripod to take these photos. I didn't use a tripod when I took this picture. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to click on the move tool, click on the image, and I would just move it and just try your best to line it up with the picture. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get as close as you can. You know, try to line it up. Like, you know, it's going to be off just a little bit no matter what. But, you know, just try your best to line things up so that things look even. Like, this is pretty good right here. You know, this is something you wouldn't notice unless you zoomed in real close. And after that, I would change the brush, use the harder edge. And I would just, you know, refine those areas even further. Yeah, just clean it up. Especially in the areas where it's like touching or the person's overlapping the other person. It's really important that you refine those areas as much as you can. Okay, and also you can use the polygon lasso tool. Like, this is a really good tool to use for this next part. If when you use it though, you have to change it to change the black to the back part, or the background color, and set the feather to you can set it to 2. So hit 2 and hit enter. And basically what this does is it helps you create areas that you can erase. So I'm just clicking points, and if you hit delete, it's going to get rid of those points. And you can hit Command E to deselect. So, you know, just try your best. You know, make it look like it's clean. Delete. But, you know, if you see it though, there are some like little discrepancies with the picture. So in some cases you might just have to use the fuzzy edge again to clean it up more. Yeah, but that fuzzy edge brush, that's going to help to blend in the two pictures together. Alright, so yeah, I think this is pretty good. Down here, it's, you know, I could fix that a little bit more. It's like you just want to look for areas where you can clean it up a little bit, or, you know, like what I'm doing right now is I'm just helping to blend the two pictures together, you know, to make it look believable. Alright, but after you're done with that, then you would upload your third image, you know, follow the same process. So I might actually do this one here. Just click and drag it on the Photoshop. This one I got lined up again. For some reason it didn't line up on that picture. So I'm going to do the layer mask, reveal all. I'm going to hide these two layers just so I can have the white. And I'm just going to get a real big brush and color it black. So when I color it black, it's erasing it. Just erase those areas that you don't need. Alright. And let me go back with the white here again. And sometimes if the picture lines up real nicely, yeah, it's gonna look fine. This one I gotta like fix it a little bit more. So I'm gonna put those layers back in. We'll go back on here. I might actually just use the fuzzy brush for. You know, I need to use the polygon lasso tool. So polygon lasso tool, make sure the feather's on 2. I'm just going to click those areas that I want to refine more. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just creating areas that I want to erase. So I'm just, you know, lining it up. Just make sure you click one at a time to make those shapes. And I'll do like some shapes at a time. So like right here, I'm making this big shape, going all around, connecting it, and I'm hitting delete to you know, get rid of it. For some reason, when you hit delete and it does that by accident, make sure you hit that flipper to do the correct one. No. For some reason, when I did it, it feathered around the edges. All right. So yeah, use the polygon lasso tool. You know, clean it up, refine it. You know, take your time. So one important thing I'm gonna grade you on with this project is the craftsmanship of, you know, creating a believable multiplicity photo. That's gonna be real important to do. Delete. Whoops. So I'm gonna undo. Command Z undo. I gotta flip it around. Delete, and I'll fix it up. Alright, yeah, if you look right here, the lockers aren't lining up again. So I gotta click on the image, line it up. Actually gotta move this up more. And I'm gonna line it up with those lockers there. Make it look believable. Alright. And then we'll go back here. Like there's some parts where it looks a little funny, so I gotta blend it. Blend the two pictures together. Whoops, erasing her by accident. I gotta go back with this again. Okay, Command D. Yeah, if you look at those outlines, it's Command D. Alright. But I gotta fix this one area a little bit more. Alright, that looks pretty good. So. Oh yeah, as you see this is not lining up. So for this particular picture, I'm gonna crop this part out. Alright. So yeah, and then I would just add the last one. But you know, this looks believable though if you were to see this in the picture.